one of the great big game pitchers of any generation here on the Rich Eisen Show, Jack Morris. How are you, Jack?
Doing well, thank you.
So what do you think of when you see somebody like Madison Bumgarner perform like he did in a winner-take-all game?
It kind of gives us old school guys hope that our generation isn't completely lost. It's wonderful. I mean, I saw a great pitching matchup last night, and a lot of times we see those marquee matchups, and we tend to be a little disappointed because they don't kind of come out to be what we think they're going to be. But last night's game was that exception. The difference, really, I feel, was ironic because Syndergaard, probably the bigger, stronger, younger guy, but pitch count in an era of pitch count is where he went down the road. And Bruce Bochy believed in his guy, and his guy didn't disappoint again. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, we were talking about had there not been a 3-run jack by Connor Gillespie last night, that maybe Bumgarner would have come out for a 10th in a shutout game, which is obviously something you're familiar with, Jack.
Well, you know, it's the irony of a wild card game. You know, it's do or die. You got to win to get in, rather than a World Series game, which I was part of, where everybody's already gone home and tonight's our last day. Similar in some ways, but very different in others.
So, what does it take? What does it take to do something even better than what you normally do in the regular season, just because it's the postseason? What sort of mind frame did you get in when you took the mound in a playoff game, Jack?
Well, it's the only thing that I can relate it to is Madison's got all the ingredients to be that great pitcher, but yet during the regular season, he doesn't necessarily stand out lights heads and shoulders above everybody else. There's so many good ones nowadays. But what happens in the postseason is he has that unbelievable focus, and I call it will. He goes out there with this absolute determination that no matter what happens, he can get the job done, and it's been that way over and over again. I mean, what he's doing is just, it's never been done before. Was there
ever a conversation with you and Tom Kelly of coming out of that game in the World Series?
Well, I mean, he gave me an out. After the ninth inning, he did it in his way, and was, pretty much telling me that, Rick Aguilar, our great bullpen relief guy, our ace in the pen, closer, was ready to go. And I said, it's my night. There's no reason for me to leave. I want the ball. It's mine. And he wanted to hear it, I think. I mean, he didn't really want to take me out of the game because he saw that I was getting stronger. But, it was a time, back in those days, I was pitching on 3 days rest for the 4th time postseason. So, he just didn't want to make my arm fall off.
Wow. I mean, when you hear stuff like that, Jack, it's ridiculous. That's never going to be seen again. Although Bumgarner did come back on 2 days rest in the World Series a couple years ago and go lights out. It just, is it a will thing? Or is it a manager having the cojones to do it, or lack thereof? Why don't we see more of you, I guess, in this day and age?
Well,
do you think?
All I can say is Bumgarner is the guy, and his manager's the guy also. Bochy believes in him. He knows what he's capable of. And he's a big, strong guy with tremendous willpower. And the combination of his manager believing in him and him going out there and showing him why he believes in him, I mean, I think that's what makes it so remarkable. Everybody can say, I want my guy to go out there. But Madison's the guy that goes out and gets it done.
And I guess you have to have a manager who has the wherewithal to withstand what may come his way. I mean, I think Buck Showalter is an excellent manager. He's getting roasted because Zach Britton didn't get in the game when he stuck with another pitcher. I guess here's Tom Kelly. He's got his closer ready to come in a Game 7 at home, which is when you want to use your closer, right at the top of an inning. The Mets did that last night with Familia. And these things, I guess, blow up in your face, and that's what happened with Buck this week when you think about it, Jack.
It's always going to turn south when things don't go right. I mean, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. And, I get the idea that Buck was waiting for that, for them to go ahead so then they can bring their guy in to shut the door. But, it doesn't always work out that way. And then you flip the coin of Terry Collins last night, bringing in Familia, who didn't get the job done either. So he didn't at least take the heat that he didn't bring his guy in, but his guy didn't get the job done. So, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't win the game.
Jack Morris, 4-time World Series champion, 5-time All-Star, World Series MVP, 2-time Babe Ruth Award winner, AL strikeout leader of 1983, 2-time Major League wins leader, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Jack, why are you not in the Hall of Fame, do you think?
I don't know. It's just a system that I think the biggest reason is I did not play in a sabermetrics era, and when I was eligible for the Hall, all the sabermetrics came into part as far as the analytical end of deciding who was in and who wasn't. And had I known that when I played, I probably could have dropped an ERA at least a half a point. I'm sure I could have, and that probably would have put me in. But sour grapes is nothing to be, whining about. I don't have any regrets over my career. I don't know who would if you were able to be lucky enough to play the way I was able to play with the great teammates in world championships.
And a Hall of Famer and a manager like Sparky Anderson. I mean, we could go down the list here, Jack. I mean, trust me, I'm not asking that to be a contrarian or to get a response out of you that gets a click on my website or anything like that. I've been pounding the table any time that there's a microphone open. When I went to the University of Michigan in 1986, I saw what you did firsthand when that was all going down, and then watched you pitch for the Twins and then the Blue Jays. I'm just kind of wondering if there's any sort of politics that you've heard that's come between your temples that you heard for this sort of thing to try and figure this out.
No, I haven't. And again, they continue, the Hall of Fame continues to reevaluate, how the process works. And, slowly they're making changes. I know recently they've come out and said they really feel that they should be getting more guys into the Hall of Fame, and they want to make changes to try to have that happen. But, it's always been a very prestigious club of people, and they have very high standards for guys getting in. So it is what it is, Rich. I'm not necessarily in agreement in my case, but that's beside the point. I have to accept it, and life goes on. I have to realize how lucky I am to be where I am and what I've been able to do.
And so I guess I'll ask you my poll question going out the door here. If Madison Bumgarner never throws another pitch, is he a Hall of Famer in your estimation, Jack?
Well, unfortunately, they don't just completely decide Hall of Fame stuff with postseason stuff. He leads the world in his postseason achievements. I mean, if you're only going on that, no question, hands down first round. But he's got a few wins and a few more innings to throw in the regular season in order for people to really jump all over it. I think that'll happen. I really do. I see no reason why this guy's going to slow down. He's still under 30 years old, so I really think that he's going to be a Hall of Famer when it's all said.
And what would you tell young pitchers in Major League Baseball that hear about arm trouble and pitch counts and things of that nature? What do you tell them about trying to build up, I guess, that ticker that beats inside that you're talking about, the will factor, Jack?
Well, you know what? Let's go back to your statement first, the pitch count. Madison Bumgarner did last night, executed a game that the pitch count was designed to do, to be efficient. Syndergaard probably was a stronger, more impressive guy for 5 innings. He had a pile of strikeouts. Those strikeouts came back to bite him in the butt because the pitch count got too high. Where Bumgarner, if you remember, was just throwing high fastballs, getting guys to pop up, 2-3 pitches. He had 21 pitches in the first 3 innings. That is impressive. That's more impressive to me than 20 strikeouts. And then he's able to finish off a game in a modern era where pitch count is, almost taboo for him because he's still strong going into the 8th, 9th inning.
Jack, thanks for coming on the show. I'd love to have you back on. I really appreciate what you did and then your mindset talking about the sport as you do.
All right. Good luck to you. Thanks, Rich.
You bet. That's Jack Morris.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.